We are back with some more touring action and looking at one of the greats, one of my personal favorite CrossFit athletes, Guy. Now, there's some absolutely incredible things that this guy has just been doing this weekend at Touring Championships when it comes to clean technique that if you can start implementing into your training is going to see you absolutely skyrocket in your efficiency on the clean. Now this event, they were up at around 165 kilos, I believe, and it was 2 reps on the final bar. And for most people, this would have been 2 singles. However, Guy does touch and go on these heavy cleans due to his impeccable efficiency when it comes to doing these cleans. So I'm going to highlight a couple of key points now that if you are a CrossFit athlete that does repetitions or barbell cycling, if you can implement yourself, it's really going to help catapult your cleans. Let's start off by taking a look at this lift together first of all.
So my question for you
Let's have a look at this.
Can you?
So effortless. Love how he catches the bounce straight out of that. Boom. And again, second clean just looked just as good. Okay, the stare at the end. Good lad. Okay, let's take a look at this. I want to break it down and start off by taking a look at setup position. Now, I really love this setup for many, many reasons. First things first, what you'll see is that the arms are completely straight in this setup position. Now, even if you're a tall lifter, the more compact you can make that start position, the easier it becomes to find a good front rack position in the receive of the clean, but it also helps with efficiency of the turnover. Commonly, a lot of people go, oh, I have poor front rack mobility, so I'm gonna grip wide. It makes it more challenging through external rotation of the shoulder to be able to get the elbows up and create a shelf for the bar to rest on if you've got wide hands. So naturally, closer is always better. What you'll see as well is he keeps his feet position directly underneath the shoulders. So if I show you him standing when he's approaching the bar here, you'll see if I just mark where his shoulder width is. So I'm just going to do this with yellow lines. So if we look at shoulder width here, and then from there, what we'll do is go back to his start position. You'll see how his feet are starting pretty much bang on shoulder width. Any wider than that can sometimes make it difficult for you to produce vertical force. He does this really well with a slightly narrower stance in the setup position. So that's great. Other thing you'll notice that he does is he puts the pressure in the foot into the front side of the foot when he's setting up. This will eliminate him when he starts to initiate any movement forward when he starts to progress in the clean, and will allow him to start leading with the chest early from the floor and creating that good amount of distance between the head and the bar in the setup. And this is crucial, like I said, to ensure that all the force is going straight to the floor when we're initiating, okay? You'll see the eyes pick up, they're looking straight ahead. Again, this helps with setting tension in the mid to upper back from the start position. And then again, feet remain completely flat all the way up to when we're getting to this position here. So in difference to, like I said, what we were seeing with Tia's lift just a moment ago, you'll see even from this angle that Guy's torso position is a lot more upright. Now, this upright torso position is what ultimately will allow the bar to brush the thigh really well through the middle and stay as close to center of gravity as possible. You see how Tia's shoulders are quite far over the bar at this point, and the torso angle is different to where Guy's is slightly more upright. Now, people are going to be different proportionally, but this is why through the extension position, you'll see Guy gets this nice brush and slide, and what we see Tia do is extend whilst that bar is away from the body at this point. If you want to see more of Tia's lift, then go and check out the other analysis, but I just wanted to highlight that point and why it's so important. If you're enjoying this, then you'll absolutely love my 12-day Common Fault Masterclass that I've put together, which is absolutely free. And these are videos that are under 5 minutes to consume, and they're actually gonna help you lift better with better technique and with heavier weights. Sounds good, right? I've used this protocol for athletes right the way from beginners all the way up to my athletes that compete at the CrossFit Games level. And the best thing is this used to be a paid product, but I'm giving it away to you for absolutely free. So go ahead, hit the link in the description below and enjoy. One thing that you'll also notice is that as we're coming through this middle phase of the lift, Guy is letting his chest be the leading point, and he's maintaining the knee stacked over the foot as he comes into extension, okay? You'll see how when the legs hit completely extended, which we see here, the bar is still pretty much in contact with the body at this point. Now, as he transitions into the receiving position, what you'll see here is that the head stays extremely neutral. Now, keeping the head neutral at this point will prevent the upper back from collapsing in the receive position for the clean. And again, this is something that I see commonly people struggling with on the clean, is as they hit the top position here, they go like this. When you do this, the chest is going to drop into the receiving position. It will make it very difficult for you to turn those elbows through into efficient receiving position. Now you'll see how the feet move out really nicely, and his catch height here is very, very high. Now, what I mean by catch height is you'll see the point in which he's met the bar and received it compared to where his lowest point of the catch is. So I'll just show you this so you can see. But if I draw bar height here, this is top bar height. Look at where his lowest point of his clean is. It's a fair bit further down here. This is not near his maximum. I think he's cleaned like 190 kilos. But by having this time from where he's received it to where the bar is at its lowest point of the clean, this really helps him de-accelerate the bar, but also use the momentum to help him stand straight up at that bottom position. And that's what we're doing as lifters. When we catch that clean, we're actually trying to absorb the load coming down in the body, use that inertia to help us up out the bottom position. And this really helps with efficiency, especially if you struggle with leg strength, which generally what I will find for a lot of athletes, especially in CrossFit, that wouldn't necessarily squat 3 times a week and put in the time that a weightlifter would do into building leg strength, purely because they have so many other things to address. This efficiency is super important in the receive of the clean. Let's watch the footwork in addition to this. So what we'll see here is when the feet are moving out after extension, they move out deliberately into the receiving position. This leaves him in a really nice sitting position. Now, something that's crucial for good catch in the clean is torso angle. The more upright you can be, the easier it is to load the legs. And you'll see that by making enough room for the hips to sit between the ankles, which Guy does perfectly, this allows him to keep the knees tracking out over the toes in the bottom position as he drives up out the sticking point. And this is why it's so important to have good range of motion in the hips, particularly for torso angle in the clean. Now, there's great distance between knees and elbows in addition here. And as he drives up out the sticking point, you'll see one thing that he's doing is he's shifting the feet back in as close as he can to his set position, not quite come all the way back in, but nonetheless, what he's done is he's turned down at the top, kept the bar super close to the body on the way back to the floor, and you'll notice at the point where he is bouncing the bar, when he's cycling this, it's very, very close to the shins. The closer it is to the shins, the easier it is then to reutilize the legs from the floor. The only thing that I would say is a point of improvement, particularly when we're coming back down to the floor here, is to try not drop the eyes, because when you drop the eyes when you're cycling a barbell, you'll see how the upper back will start to round like this. As soon as you start looking down, that will make it more challenging for him to keep the load off the upper body through this middle phase of the lift and use the legs as well, which is why you don't see as good extension, particularly here, as you do on the first rep. That and the fact that he is fatigued on the second repetition. But if we could have seen that the feet shift in very slightly and the torso stay upright as he was returning back to the floor with the eyes up, what we would have seen is even better extension on this lift. Now, this will not be an issue for him at this weight, but if he was cycling maybe a 180 or 190, which again, not sure when he would have to do that in a CrossFit event, it would help. Now, other than that, there's very little that I will have to comment on from a poor technical execution standpoint, because it is very, very good. The one thing I want you to take away though, the key things I want you to take away, particularly from this video, is efficiency and turnover, and then setup position. That more compact position is what's always going to allow you to utilize the legs really well from the floor. The second thing that I want to highlight here is just what we see happening through the middle phase of lift. By keeping that torso a little bit more upright through the middle and the shoulders directly above the bar, we get what I refer to as the brush happening here through the middle. Never obsess over making too much excessive contact on a clean, and more think about letting it slide through this middle phase of lift so the bar is staying as close to center of gravity as possible. It's always going to help with your turnover. The further away the bar is from the body at this point, makes it challenging to turn the elbows through in the catch position, which is going to put a lot of excessive pressure on the torso in the receive. If you implement this into your own lifting, it's going to make you a hell of a lot better, particularly at cleans. And the exercises that I would get you to implement, if this is something that you struggle with, is try doing some no foot movement cleans in your warm-up position. By doing no foot movement, it takes away your ability to be able to strike too excessively through the middle phase of lift and let the bar move away, and you'll have to drag it through the middle phase to get that brush. This can be really helpful to build your perception of where the bar is in relation to the body. The second thing that I would say working on is doing an exercise called clean jumps. Now, this is an exercise that implements a lot of beginners when they first start at the lifting zone to get them used to using the legs to generate the vertical force on the clean as opposed to the hips. Guys, if you enjoyed this review and you want me to take a deep dive look at your Olympic weightlifting to understand what is holding you back and exactly what you need to implement in order to progress, that's exactly what we do at the Lifting Zone. There's a link below this video where you can book in a discovery call with me. We'll talk about your lifting, understand what your goals are, and build out an approach that's going to help you achieve them inside the next 12 weeks. If you're not ready for custom programming yet, but you do want more technical feedback and analysis on your lifting, then go ahead and check out the Coach's Corner. The Coach's Corner is where you'll have unlimited feedback, technical feedback on your list from my expert coaching team, as well as access to a plethora, big word for the morning, of training programs, whether it be for snatch, clean and jerk, or even just our club training program to start giving you some structure to progress with your Olympic weightlifting movements. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anyone else that you want me to do a review of, just let me know the name in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Big love.